Shalom. Kol halal Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Bahasham Rekah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, who are ordained to be the new government here on earth, right? On earth as it is in heaven, all right? The kingdom of heaven will be here on earth, not somewhere above the clouds. You know, that's that Christian madness that, that doesn't match up with scripture at all. The kingdom of heaven will be an earthly realm, the rulership of the Israelites, set up by who the world falsely and fraudulently calls JC. His name is Yahushai. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled birds, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. The Israelites were scattered to the four corners of the earth among all people. All right, and to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you another lesson in truth. And war is here and Jacob's trouble is here. And you still have people in denial of that. The people in the tribe of Manasseh in Cuba right now are in total hell. All right, they're starving. There's a plague among them, and there's no food, no clean water, no food, and no power. On that hot island, is sitting in the tropical ocean. Right? It's not good for them, and it's only going to get worse. And that same vibration, that same thing is going to come here to the States. Difference between America and Cuba, that we got way more than 10 million people, and there's more guns here than people. So when there's a lack of food, a lack of water, think of your worst apocalyptic movie and magnify it times 10. All right, maybe even more than that. It's going to get really bad out here when there's no rule of law, and especially since the people who enforce the law, make the rules, don't follow their own rules. All right. But as you can see, it says war is here. All right. This is not the video that I'm going to profile, but war is here because I'm just going to give you a roundabout, synopsis of what's actually happening, what's about to happen. Trump needs war, and that's a video by Danny Hafong. You can watch Danny Hafong's, his videos, because you get a real, a real sense of what's happening in Western Asia. That part of the world that they call Europe and in the Middle East. Slovakia, they sprayed us with that crazy shit. Every car in Chicago was covered and looked like mud. And so that came down on top of us. So I can only imagine the sicknesses and the illnesses that's going to be happening now over these next couple of days. But yeah, just like Bibi, Trump is in trouble lawfully. He's protecting pedos that have done human trafficking, raping of women and children, and cannibalism. All these things are coming out now, and it's facts. And the truth of the matter is all you conspiracy deniers need to bow your heads in shame. All of you who shame, the same people who tried to shame the people into taking those shots, and more people died from the shots than they did from the said illness. Yeah, it's that same group of assholes, that same group of stupid people, of followers, who just blindly believe in this pale man, all right, because they have a belief that he's righteous and good. Well, he's not. Okay, this is a hot book right now, but this is the book of Habakkuk 2 Psalm 1, and it says, and I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, and at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desires hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto himself all nations, and heapeth unto himself all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself up with thick clay, and that thick clay is the debt. All right, and Esau, Edom, has brought nothing but hell to all the other people. He never keeps it home. He's always going into another people's land with his ships and his war machines and his planes, and taking the resources and causing pain and suffering unto the people there, bringing disease. And then after that, he sets up his rulers, and next thing you know, the women of the population are being way beyond adulterous, clapping their cheeks. The men are tying their shirts up in the front. No one wants to get married or have children anymore. And they bring that Edomitish lifestyle, to everyone, which corrupts and destroys people, along with corrupting and destroying the land itself by pillaging it of his resources, all right, to the point to where it makes the land sick. They know nothing about, or they do know, they just do not respect the land Sabbaths at all. These people are being found to be the wicked, and the whole world sees it. Still in Habakkuk, jumping up to verse 16. Thou art filled with shameful glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be upon thy glory. They're being called out for all their murder. See, because Trump is in trouble legally. He knows that he's going to eventually be impeached, and when he comes out of office, most of the people in his cabinet will probably be going to prison for all their crimes against humanity, for their outright disrespect and trampling of the American Constitution, not following the law. Like I said, making the rules, but not following the rules. Okay, so let's go to this video. Let me make a camera adjustment. Okay, and this is a video, GMS dedication. It's called Esau, the Wicked is being more revealed in these last days. All right. So I'm just trying to get this perfect, because these two Jakes give you a real solid breakdown of who the true villain is, who the real bad guy is. The same one who made up all these pseudoscience, false labels that he gave people. White, black, Arab, Asian, those are not biblical at all. He gave those names out so that he could hide who he is biblically. And that is the nation of Edom, right? There's no such thing as black people. See how chocolate this little sister is. And her skin is not the same color as her coat. You ever held a piece of chocolate, a dark chocolate in your hand? She's brown. Her coat is black. Okay? And she's a dark chocolate one too, but she's still chocolate. Chocolate is brown, dummies. Okay, so but without any further ado, here we go.
I was like, why is nobody getting so mad about everything that's happening right now? And I have a conclusion. It's the reason why everyone's not so mad right now is because race. Bro, we know everything in their mother. The stereotype, black people are thugs. Mexicans, they are criminals. Middle East, you're terrorists. Asians, you're whatever. Like, there's a racial thing behind everything. When it comes to these people who are doing these vicious, horrible, satanic things, they are white. They're white. For so long, our world has seen white people as the number one. They're the perfect race to be born as. Long hair, blue eyes, remember that shit? And now look. Now look. Now look. The reason why y'all not mad is because the race that is doing all these vicious things, you can't see them as other than perfect. They are not perfect. These are the people that are doing the most vicious shit. If another race did this, everyone would be angry. Do all this racist shit. But now, yo, they worse than every other race right now. They worse than the gangs. They worse than the criminals. They worse than the terrorists. They're worse. They're all of them. Like, dude, do you not realize that right now? Stop seeing their perfection and see their humiliation. Humiliate them. They need to be done, bro. Not all white people, but just these people. These white people. These blancos, bro. Come on. These mayonnaise warriors. Come on.
I keep hearing about these white folks keep saying that there's this spaceship on the way. It'll be here about November. It's a bunch of giant black people. So let me give a message to the brothers on the way. Brothers, thank you. My prayer is that you don't wait to start firing. These genetically recessive world enders have poisoned the whole world with PFAS. They have built nuclear plants on fault lines like Daiichi Fukushima plant, spewing 342 tons of nuclide water every day, killing off the whole life stream in our oceans. They dropped the bomb when they dropped atomic bombs and nuclear bombs and didn't have to. Their hoe drops white phosphorus on children and old folks. They starve children and old folks and men and claim that humans don't have a right to eat. Yep. So my only wish and prayer is to eliminate him, even if it caused all of us to have to go.
We got to stop right there. And I highly suggest that you go and watch this very edifying video. But the 1/3 are going to be spared from this. Only the 2/3 of Israel would die along with the heathens and everyone else in Babylon when this happens. And this is going to happen. All right. And he's right. Those are our brothers. Those are the angels. Okay. They're spoken about here. It's all over the Bible. And it does tell you, and they are big, gigantic black men with gigantic afros, not little green men with big heads. That's Esau. It talks about in the Bible how they're wearing the beryl. Beryl means green clothing. All right. And they have the woolly hair. So instead of drawing the afro, they just draw a big head and green men. See how Esau tries to control the narrative? All right. But in Revelation, in the book of Revelation 1:7, it says the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach, which God gave unto him to show his servants the things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent it and signified it by his angel and his servant. Jumping down to verse 7. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also they that pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. I am Alpha and Omega. I am the beginning and the ending. See, he was there in the beginning of creation, the first thing created, and now he's going to be here in the end when the new heaven here on earth is created. He is the beginning and the end. Okay. It says, saith the Lord, which is and saith which is and which was and which is come, the Almighty. All right. And then the Lord goes on to tell you what he looks like. It describes his woolly hair, his bronze-like skin. It even compares him to the sardine and the jasper stone in Revelation 4 and 3. The sardine and the jasper stone, just so you know, for you new people, let me give you an example of what a sardine and a jasper stone actually looks like. Okay? Because you're looking at this man has a complexion of a sardine and a jasper stone. You know, right? He's right there in that, so the range of a sardine and a jasper stone. Okay? You see? That is not a so-called white person. And another lie that they love to spew out is that, well, he was olive complected. Well, yeah, you know, we'll look at the olives. All right, we know he wasn't the green one, but look at the olives. They look like the sardine and the jasper stone. Yeah. All right. So he's going to come with clouds. The clouds is one of the descriptions that is given to the chariots of Israel. They often describe, they cloak themselves as clouds, and then all of a sudden they uncloak and everyone sees them, and they call them UFOs and UAPs. And when you're seeing them, it's because they're allowing you to see them. Okay? And when he returns, he's going to allow everyone to see them. And he returns in the midst of World War III, just as the scripture says. All right? All the prophecies are coming to pass. Esau, Edom, like I said, Trump needs war to keep himself, to keep out of the courts, to keep the laws of the land from taking root and actually operating against him. So he needs this war the same way that B.B. Milkowski needs constant perpetual war, because if they stop, they're rioting over in Israel right now. The IDF is over there beating up the Orthodox Jews, beating them up in the streets, over there fighting in the streets like niggas. Okay? Because, well, they are the real niggas. But anyway, he needs, B.B. Milkowski needs war, because he too will have to face the justice system of his own country if there was actually to have peace. So they're not going to have peace. They're going to front peace. And when they say peace, sudden destruction will come. And now all of a sudden, you got an armada headed to Iran, okay, when supposedly you already destroyed Iran's nuclear facilities. Clearly they didn't. And China has already sent out the word, an attack on Iran is an attack on China. All right? And China has the means to actually destroy American assets all around the world. And they're not alone. They have Russia, and Russia has those series of missiles that cannot be stopped by any missile defense system. This thing is about to go down. And when it does, you know, in the midst of this, the Lord returns. All right. And somewhere along the line too. So it's not going to happen right away. This, you know, the war has begun, but it's not going to be full blown. Not until the MOTB is instituted. So that's all we're looking for at this point. That's all we're looking for. Because everything else, you know, the insurrections, the uproars of the people, the disease, the famine, the infrastructure for the MOTB is set up. We're just waiting for the enforced implementation of it, and this war, it more than likely will be the catalyst to launch that, because of the famine and the chaos that will ensue when support systems for food, water, etc. begins to fail. But let's go to the book of Zechariah, the 5th chapter, starting at verse 1. It says, "And then I looked, And then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. That's what this man is talking about. Those flying ships is on the way with the big brothers in them. And they are big brothers. Okay? Remember, he told John to get up, don't bow down to me. I'm your fellow servant. Okay? The angels are servants just like we are. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, and I see a flying roll, and a length thereof 20 cubits, and a breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then he said unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side, according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off on that side as according to it. And the Lord said he's coming back to enter the house of the thief. Who comes in and steals people and steals their land and enslaves them and then sits on their land and their resources as if it's theirs? Who still to this very day is trafficking people. He's the thief. He's the stealer. He's the murderer. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into that house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, saying, I'm the chosen. Yeah, you're the chosen wicked. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof. Then the angel that talked to me went forth and said unto me, lift up now thine eyes and see what it is that goeth forth. And it's Yahushai. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter. Yeah, because the first part of the 2nd Ezra 13 all the way up to verse 13 is all about the Lord coming with his armada, his heavenly armada, and destroying all the mighty men of all the armies and things of the earth. Okay? So I'm going to start at this 2nd Ezra 13. And I'm going to start at verse 4. No, verse 3. And I beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that was seen under him. Because the whole world is going to wail because of him. So everything's going to tremble when those ships fill up the sky. And that one gigantic father ship. You know, when you remember when Parliament sang that song that we all love so much? Swing down, sweet chariot, swing low. All right. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it is filleth the fire. So that's basically that's those heavenly death rays. You know, you remember where you think they got the that concept of the Death Star from Star Wars. Okay, and he's coming to end these life enders, these world enders, Esau, Edom. Okay, because they're anti-life. You know, they want to get rid of food and replace it with man-made petroleum medicines, which actually just mask symptoms of illness while giving you other illnesses and cause cancer calling and killed you with carcinogens. And after that I beheld, and lo, there was a great multitude of men out of the number of the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. He came out of the heavens, out of the stars. All right. They're going to try to subdue him. All right. And the armies of the earth are going to try to fight him. So in the midst of World War III, when they're fighting one another, they're going to stop fighting each other and try to fight the Lord. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself as a great mountain and flew upon it. That's the one gigantic father ship. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. He couldn't see from one end of the ship. It's so big, you're not going to be able to see from one end to the other. And lo, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. But he's going to put a spirit on them to fight. They're going to be afraid. They've already put out reports that the way these chariots that they call UFOs and UAPs move, they don't have the technology to fight them. They know that the pilots cannot be human, because the humans cannot move, could not withstand the G-force of the way these things move. That's why in the scriptures, when it says when we get raised up onto these things, we shall be changed. Flesh, regular flesh and bone, we can't withstand. We can't live. That's why we're going to be transformed in a second. That's 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, one of my favorite chapters. All right. But it says, and lo, I saw the violence of the multitude that came. He neither lifted up his hand, nor held a sword or any instrument, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, that's that death ray again, the blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, like a tornado of death ray, barreling toward all of them. And they were all mixed together, the blast of the fire and the flaming breath and the great tempest, and it fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, every one of them, so that upon of a sudden of the innumerable multitude nothing was perceived but only dust and the smell of smoke. And when I saw this, I was afraid. He completely turned those armies, those planes, those missiles, those missile defense systems, those tanks, those armored vehicles, those Navy destroyers. He turned them all to dust instantly. And afterward, I saw the same man come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude, and that's the elect of Israel, that's scattered among the nations that look like the nations. He's gathering them up. All right. And there came much people unto him. Wherefore some were glad, some were sorry, and some were bound, and some of them brought that which were offered. Then I was sick through the great fear, and I walked, and I awakened and said, well, actually, we can stop right there. But that is the beginning of the end. All right, that great peaceable multitude that he's gonna put those crowns on, the elect of Israel, and then all the other people that are bound, all the other nations, because he's going to allow his Israelite armies to go and subdue all the what's left of the kings of the mountains and the hills, the other nations, and subdue them, because the world is going to that 1,000-year period of servitude to build up the kingdom of heaven here on earth for free. They're going to go in their shadow slavery. They're going to, as a matter of fact, and those that remain of Edom, because all the Edomites in America are going to be annihilated off the face of the earth, turned to dust. But the ones that are scattered about the world, they're going to be rounded up. Let's go to Joel and we'll finish there. Joel, the 3rd chapter, especially Edom. This is your future, and this future is one that is very close and very near. This is not something that's going to happen. This is going to happen as soon as World War III kicks off full blown. All right, and we're in World War III, which lets you know how close we are. All right, it's Joel, 3 and 6. The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem ye have sold unto the Grecians, that you might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of those places. We just read about it. He's going to gather them up from all the places they were scattered to, among the heathen, and the ones that look like the heathen, them as well. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where they have been sold, where you have sold them, and return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians and to the people far off, for Yahweh has spoken it. So the Lord is going to give us the ability to have, there's going to be a new slave trade that starts the kingdom of heaven. And we're going to sell the Edomites, all right, around the world. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Babal.